Hello and welcome back to another video on the Real EFL YouTube channel. We've got another opinion video today. I've done for a team in League One, Charlie's done one for a team in the Championship, and we couldn't leave League Two out. So today I'm going to be focusing on a team who I suppose could now be considered favourites for the title. And we could kind of consider League Two as potentially weaker this season. And plenty of teams will fancy their chances of taking the title, or even more simply, just gaining promotion this term. It's fair to say that the league lost a few rather big teams to promotion last season. Your likes of Stockport, Wrexham and Mansfield, there's all an argument for. Crawley maybe less so, but we can't really knock Crawley's achievements in the second half of the season. And I think for that reason, there's not really a clear favourite in my eyes. Yes, with the bookies, it is Chesterfield, but they still have something to prove as a team that's come up. So it is wide open. If we then look at the four teams who have came down from League One, they've all maybe got a bit to prove. Carlisle, I'll start with them. We struggled massively last term, but better will be expected. To be fair, we've had an all right window so far, and our pre-season's not going too badly, but that is only pre-season. Fleetwood Town as well didn't do too well last year, and I feel like there's question marks surrounding both them and us as well. Look at Cheltenham. Their squad has been torn apart this window, and they really don't look as a side that will be fighting for promotion or anywhere near the top in my eyes. I think they could be not necessarily towards the bottom, but I can't see them above mid-table. The other one, Port Vale, are the ones who are interesting me at the minute. And they actually finished below Cheltenham and Fleetwood. But in my eyes, it's the Valiants who look in the best place to gain an immediate promotion back into England's third tier out of those four. So if you hadn't guessed, yes, this video is about Port Vale, who I think could be quite an ambitious side this season. As soon as Darren Moore took charge of the club in mid-February, it was clear that they had quite a future plan or project was in mind. And that was partly down to the 5.5-year contract that he was handed, which, don't get me wrong, is crazy. 5.5 years for a team that are now in League Two, but if it works, it works. But there's this clear indication of some sort of direction. During that time, he couldn't keep Vale up, nor did they really improve under him. But in fairness, he didn't have the chance to bring the players that he wanted to the club. However, now being given the summer transfer window, it's fair to say that there's been a huge overhaul at the club from a player's perspective. That is despite the fact that at the time of recording, there's only 7 of last season's squad has left the club. Those being James Wilson, Gavin Massey, Jason Lutweiler, Alex Iacovetti, Lewis Cass, Ryan Love and Uche Ikpeatsu. Despite there being 1 or 2 decent names on that list, the significance of the incomings, which I'll speak about now, this summer greatly outweigh those departures. I mean, where better to start than the signing of George Byers? That is a major coup, and it came as a huge surprise, not just to me, but I'm sure so many other EFL, not just League Two fans, to see him drop down from Sheffield Wednesday in the Championship all the way down to the 4th tier. Given that the Valiants beat Oxford United to his signature, it's clear that there is something building at the club. Byers has spent the majority of his career playing in the Championship for the likes of Sheffield Wednesday and Swansea, and is no doubt the name who'll grab the headlines. But their business goes far deeper than just the signing of the 28-year-old. Alongside him, they've also added plenty more experience. The signings of Ryan Crosdale, who's fresh off the back of winning the League Two title with Stockport, as well as former promotion winner Connor Hall, who, despite maybe not having the best season with Colchester, I mean, no one really had a good season at Colchester last year, he did previously have a successful spell with the club. Then add the signing of goalkeeper Ben Amos and left-back Sam Hart to the mix, and it could already be considered a decent enough window with just those names. And that's without even looking at their attacking options. The forward areas have seen the biggest overhaul of the lot, and they're arguably the most exciting, I think, attacking signings that any club have made. Ronan Curtis, Jayden Stockley, Rory Patton and Lauren Talage all being brought in this summer. Those 4 names all bring something different, and it could work really well for Vale next season. I thought that Ronan Curtis was nailed on to be making the step up back to League One after recovering from a nasty injury and then impressing for AFC Wimbledon last term. And on his day, he's one of the most exciting players in the division and also brings plenty of experience with him. Same could be said about Jayden Stockley, who joins from rivals Fleetwood, and the attack already looks rather lethal. And then furthering that, the future of the forward line already looks to be forming through the signings of Rory Patton and Lauren Talage. The former would net 17 times for Queen's Park in the Scottish Championship last term, while the latter would put up 27 goal contributions in the National League for Aldershot, and could still have untapped potential despite a previous spell in the league with Salford City not really working out. However, he's going to have so much more confidence after that spell in the National League, and although it is a step up, I think Talage could... you can't consider it a breakout season because I suppose last year was, but I expect him to have a really good year with Vale next season. And this is the thing, I think there's this hope around the club which, after a relegation, you don't always see. We sometimes see a shift in club's ambitions as well as the setup. Just look at Forest Green Rovers, they're the prime example at the minute. Back-to-back relegations. That isn't present at Vale Park, and it's clear that they're targeting an immediate promotion back into the third tier. With all of the incomings, it may take a bit of time to gel, and they've not exactly set the world alight in pre-season. They beat Newcastle Town, scraped a 1-0 win against Kidsgrove Athletic, drew with Russell Olympic, and then lost to Leek Town, Coventry City, and then most recently Bath City. But it has to be remembered, this is only pre-season. We've seen Darren Moore experiment with a number of different lineups and formations during this time, and he should now have more of an idea going into their final preparation matches. Don't be surprised as a result if they do make somewhat of a slow start to the upcoming season, down to both adjusting to life again in League Two, as well as the amount of players that they've brought through the doors at Vale Park. Then again, looking at their first 5 fixtures, Salford, Tranmere, Barrow, Doncaster, Newport County. They may well make a good start, which could indeed lead them to being early favourites for the title. I think there's a lot to like about the current project and the transfer business that Vale have made so far, but all of their best business has been in the forward areas, and improvements are still needed in defence, something that fans have been rather vocal about on Twitter. And it's clear to see that that is their weakness, or I don't want to say Achilles heel, but you can see that there's a clear difference between the way that they've gone about signing attacking players this summer and defensive. Yes, they've signed Hart and Hall for the back line, but are they real improvements on what they already had? I'm not too sure. They kind of strike me as a team who have the potential to be like Notts County were last year. Excellent going forward and will always be fun to watch, but could also let plenty in at the other end. For them to now become true automatic or title contenders, because I think Port Vale, if they bring in one or two more, or even just one quality defender into their ranks, then they are going to be one of the favourites for the title. And if they do that, I think we could see them challenging right towards the top. We'll obviously have a future video on our predictions and rankings of all the League Two sides, as well as those in League One and the Championship. I won't give too much away, but for me, Port Vale went quite near the top. So make sure to stay tuned for that. The best way to do that, press the subscribe button, turn notifications on. Something like 95% of our viewers aren't subscribed at the minute. And if you do, that will massively help us out, and we'll keep on making more videos like this. And we've got so many exciting things coming out over the next few months before the transfer window closes. Give us a like as well, and also comment down on how you think Vale will do this season and who are your favourites for the league. It better be Carlisle. See you in the next one.